Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Podcast. My name's Freddie Hall. We are on Radio Row in New Orleans, Louisiana. Our first guest for the weekend, Ben Rolfe, Senior Product Director of Pro Football Network. You also see another familiar face on the end there with Sky Lawrence Pank, part of the Franchise Tag and Sky's the Limit, obviously. It's been a wonderful time so far, Ben. Thank you for joining us.
No, you're absolutely welcome.
Smashing. Pro Football Network, Senior Product Director, fantastic website for all your footballing needs. But obviously we are here for the Super Bowl. Very exciting times between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. What do you expect to see in the Super Bowl with the Eagles? It's a team that has had such an explosive offense and a really incredible defense down the stretch in this playoff and also within the season itself.
Yeah, the Eagles are an interesting team because they're very boom or bust, it feels like. You look at Saquon Barkley, he's either ripping off a 60-yard run or a 3-yard loss, it feels like. There doesn't seem to be much in the middle. So that seems to be their whole offense, that kind of explosive nature. So I think that's what we're going to continue seeing. They're going to lean heavily on that defense. It's been so good this year. I think they'll manage to shut the Chiefs down a little bit, but we know the Chiefs will find an answer eventually because they always do. The tight end is the biggest worry for me for the Eagles because they struggled against Zach Ertz in the championship game, and if you struggle with Zach Ertz, you're going to struggle with Travis Kelce.
When you bring it on to the Chiefs, I mean, again, a defense that has also been so immensely impressive this season, but an offense that has been lackluster. Sorry, is that, do you think the route then is to go for the tight end, feeding Travis Kelce, or even Noah Gray? Look at that room. Do you think that Rashee Rice, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy, do you think it's worth getting them involved as well, or is that going to be the A game to beat the Eagles?
It feels like they're kind of, since they brought Hollywood back, kind of phased Hopkins out a little bit. So I think it will be a lot of Hollywood and Worthy, that speed game with Worthy. But yeah, I think they'll feature a lot of Noah Gray, a lot of Travis Kelce. I think that's the way they'll lean. Noah Gray might benefit because the Eagles aren't going to ignore Travis Kelce. Like they might come to the conclusion Zach Ertz isn't going to beat us. Travis Kelce could beat you.
Ben, in terms of the rankings, obviously before the games, like any players ranked anyway. In the Super Bowl, obviously, this is the point where you can really look at it and match up in terms of, even for someone who's watching for the first time, they can see, the Eagles, as we know, their O-line standout. And we're stating the obvious here, but do you think that's heightened more in terms of looking deep into where players are ranked? When you look at pro football and their positions, and you can really look scheme by scheme, position by position, and make those comparisons between these two teams.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of this time of the year. Not just the Super Bowl, but even going back to the championship games, the divisional round. Like you can really key in on 4 or 5 games a week rather than 16. And these matchups are there every week. It's fun, but nobody has the time to digest all of them. Like, you've got people out there writing brilliant stuff, covering it, but you can't digest that full 16 games. When it comes to the Super Bowl, not only have you got one game, you've got 2 weeks for people to start digging into these matchups. So yeah, absolutely, it feels heightened at this time of the year, just because you've got that time to think about it and listen to all the podcasts and watch all the analysis.
Yeah. Do you think that, because we've seen it a lot in the playoff games so far at the minute, is that the turnover battle has been so influential within all of the playoffs? More so, I think, this year than any other year, to be honest with you. Do you think that the turnover battle is going to be a factor within this game?
Yeah, because both teams tend to be quite careful with the ball. The Chiefs struggled at the start of the year, but they haven't had many turnovers in the second half of the season. Mahomes has been more careful with the ball. As they've started to find their identity a bit more, they've started to be more cautious there. And also, the Chiefs especially just felt almost inevitable at times this year. Like, they get to third down, they're going to convert, it feels like. They're so good. But yeah, I think both teams are so careful with the ball that one mistake could be costly.
Moving away from the Super Bowl, Ben, we're looking at one of your articles that you were part of and curated on ProFootballNetwork.com, which you can go and find, and that is 10 bold off-season predictions. I mean, the tagline: surprise Aaron Rodgers trade, Justin Fields becomes a New York Jet, Cowboys lands a generational RB. I mean, that's already a headline that's going to draw me in. However, I want to focus on, given we have a Patriots fan in Sky here, I'm going to focus on one of the parts that is wrote in this article, and that is the Patriots draft Travis Hunter, and they play him both ways, on offense and defense. How confident are you that this is going to happen? And also, some draft analysis and experts out there said that maybe Travis suit just being on offense, just being on defense, and not having that two-way aspect.
Yeah, I mean, First of all, there's a good chance that he may not even make it to the Patriots at 4. He could be gone before that. Someone might see the talent. But I mean, why I think the Patriots are the perfect example of why he could end up there, and you're not going to like this, is they're so devoid of talent on both sides of the ball. Like, they need wide receivers badly. They've got a lot of good gadgety kind of guys, but no real stars. I'm not 100% sure Travis Hunter can be a star wide receiver, but he's got a shot. The good thing is, if you draft him, you've then got the option of putting him one way or the other. It's a bit like drafting a swing offensive tackle who can play guard. If he doesn't work out at offensive tackle, you move him to guard. It's kind of the same here with Hunter, but just not something we see as often. If he struggles as a two-way player, you bring him in just on offense, you put him just on defense, and still got a very good player, worthy of a first-round pick, just maybe not with the ceiling you hope.
It's part of that thought process saying the Patriots are taking even more so now because Patriots are one already linked before Gerard Mayo was fired. Obviously, articles been written. Mike Vrabel's in as a head coach. He played with Troy Brown. He was a great asset as a gadget player in his career for Tom Brady. Travis Hunter would be the perfect guy for Drake May in his development. So if you think it rings more true now, considering the coaching changes they've been, and also bring back Justin Daniels as the OC.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. Troy Brown, Julian Edelman, even Mike Vrabel himself played two ways, not to that level. But, I mean, and maybe Vrabel is the example, because Travis Hunter could just plan select packages on offense initially, could just come in on third down. Maybe on defense, he only plays when they need 3 cornerbacks on the field. He doesn't have to be an every down guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's sustainable for him to be an every down guy on both sides of the ball. The one other benefit you get by having a defensive player like that, he could be a special teams guy for you, and a regular one, because even if he's not able to play every defensive snap, he can play offense and special teams for you. And that is a benefit if you get a good special teams player.
Yeah, as you said in the article, the ranking 30th in defense and 26th in offense. I mean, they need talent. You're right. They're devoid of talent, but I think Well, I said it on a podcast the other week that one of my hot takes for the offseason was the Patriots was the best place for any coach to go to, and the fact that they got it wrapped up so quickly and so early with Vrabel, and then bringing in the guys that he wants within the organization, that is only going to benefit them moving forward. I mean, we all know here, but they've got what could be a generational quarterback in Drake May. There's players in that team, Christian Gonzalez. There's players where the Patriots, I mean, one of the big takes on one of the large podcasts that's going to be here, I can imagine, in the next few days, is that the Patriots could well be a playoff team next year, because they're not the same 4 always getting on that wild card, and it tends to be a bit of a carousel. So do you think there's a chance of that potential?
Might be tough in the first year, just because there is a lot they need to do. Like, there's the pass rush. There's a second cornerback behind Christian Gonzalez. There's offensive line issues. There's wide receiver issues.
There's more issues and another issue.
Ramondre Stevenson needs to learn to hold on to the ball. Like, there's quite a lot they need to fix. It may be a 2-year thing, but go back 12 months, we'll probably say the same about the Washington Commanders as well.
Yeah, I suppose. Who do you support? You don't support Patriots?
I did. I do. But ever since I've really been working in the industry, I've stopped letting my mood be controlled by any one team.
I think that's the secret of sports, right? It's just trying to not let it affect your mood.
Yeah, it would ruin my Sunday if the Patriots lost, or if they lost on a Thursday night football. Ruin. And at that point, I just went, I can't do this anymore. I've got to just not follow a team, because I can't turn up to meetings on a Monday morning in a foul mood.
Okay, so the double team, like Sky's a Dallas Cowboys fan as well.
No segue
onto Dallas, I suppose. I mean, there's been a tremendous season all round. I mean, it's going to accumulate here in New Orleans in the next few days. We're only on Monday here. Got a fair few days to go. It's going to be a long and enjoyable one for all of us involved. Obviously, you're going to be there in attendance as well. But there's been some, really fantastic moments this season. What would be your highlight so far?
I mean, the one that stands out is Saquon Barkley reverse hurdling over.
Why do I feel like this is what we're going to hear a lot for the next few days?
What was insane?
I mean, that and the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Just that aspect of the Hail Mary being the perfect example of how you as an offense should play the Hail Mary, and how you shouldn't do it as a defense, which is to all run to the ball. Like, I think we've seen the Patriots try it in the past, but the other way, where Gronk used to go to the back of the end zone and try to pat it back to a receiver running in. This was actually almost perfect, because he couldn't get the ball to the end zone with the throw, and almost like McLaurin's job was to sort of knock it off. And it was excellent, and it was just such a swing moment for both teams, because Washington has struggled. Jaden Daniels had been injured. and their season just seemed to turn on that. Chicago had built momentum coming into that off the back of the games in London and before that, and they just fell apart. It really was the moment that swung how the NFC played out.
I think Jaden Daniels might just be my moment this season, to be honest. How amazing he's been, really. I mean, we're going to be asking a lot of people this: who is going to win Super Bowl 59? Would you be as bold as to say as you would have a score prediction as well?
Yeah, I mean, our numbers lean towards it being the Eagles, but I mean, you're talking, they're both ranked third and fifth in our power rankings, both with a score of over 85. So they're both very good teams. It's very close. I've got it Eagles by somewhere in the region of 3 points. I'm hoping for a nice high scoring game like we saw last time, 30 points plus each, but I'm thinking probably we're going to see somewhere in the 27-24 region, something like that.
The prediction I did. Yeah. 27-24 to the I can't remember who's shooting the Eagles to me. I think I will.
Yeah. That's the way I lean towards it. I know the sportsbook's open the other way, but the Chiefs are ever so slight favourites. It's really, like you talked earlier, matchups. It's going to come down to those individual moments, those individual matchups.
Yeah, and there's so many across the field, isn't there? Like, every time I think about this game, everything goes to me. Well, the form the Eagles are in, the way they play, they win quite easily.
I don't see them losing.
Do you not?
I think
It's the Chiefs and the Super Bowl.
I know we spoke about the weapons. I just think that
It's the Chief team.
yeah, and it's not a Patriots thing. During Nick Foles, I just think the Eagles' defense. We spoke about matchups. Defensively, they probably match up the best out of any team in the league against Mahomes, even with healthy weapons. And if they just do what they did better in the last matchup, as keep them to under 30 points, I think the Eagles are capable of putting up over 30 as well.
The interesting element this time would be last time Fangio was a consultant, defensive coordinator. This time Fangio is the coordinator. He was the coordinator when Nagy was the head coach in Chicago. There's going to be something between those two, and that's going to be the intriguing chess battle. Again, I know Nagy doesn't call the plays for the Chiefs, but
Still enough insight there.
yeah, like his offense is the Chiefs' offense. So I do think it's going to be a really intriguing battle, that defense, and what they're going to do to stop Kelsey, because they're going to have to put someone in there, whether that be Cooper DeJean or Quinion Mitchell goes in there. Somebody's got to do that job.
You see Fangio have success against Brady as well. When he was Denver and Patriots. So
yeah,
it's definitely not his first rodeo going up against one of the best quarterbacks. So we'll see.
Exactly. Ben, thank you very much for joining myself and Sky on the Franchise Tag podcast. You can find Ben on X at Ben Rolfe PFN. You can find Pro Football Network at www.profootballnetwork.com. One of our colleagues, Gareth, was showing me a really interesting off-season simulator gadget that was on there this morning, but I'm very much looking forward to use. I'll show you. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
Cool.
Did you have a good outcome for Patriots? Or...
hard to.
Hard to, yeah, exactly.
There's a lot you need to do.
Yeah. Won't talk about it.
Well, again, Ben, thank you very much. And then more coming from the Franchise Tag at Radio Row or Super Bowl.